The cops were putting handcuffs on my mom when everything started. "You're under arrest for assault," the officer said, not even looking at her face. Mom stood there calm, like this was just another Tuesday morning on our farm. She didn't fight. Didn't argue. Just held out her wrists. "Watch the north fence," she told me quietly, handing me her work gloves. I wanted to scream. Wanted to tell them they had it all wrong. But my throat was dry, and my hand was still bleeding from where Richard had shoved me to the ground. "Let me back up. Show you how we got here." 20 minutes earlier, I was in the chicken coop fixing a broken latch. Normal morning stuff. That's when I heard the cars, not the usual farm trucks that rumble past, but clean SUVs that had no business on our dirt road. 3 people got out. The woman in front wore heels and a blazer, looking like she was headed to a board meeting, not a farm. Behind her were 2 men in tactical vests, the fake kind security guards wear to look important. "I need to speak with the property owner," the woman announced. Mom came out of the barn, wiping grease off her hands. She's not tall, maybe 5 feet 5 inches, but something about how she carries herself makes people notice. "I'm Sam Miller. This is my farm." The woman smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I'm Karen from the HOA. We need to discuss your recent additions." She pointed at our new barbed wire fence like it had personally insulted her. "That fence violates 5 safety codes. It's a hazard to the community. It needs to come down immediately." Mom tilted her head slightly. "You're standing on my property." Karen's smile got tighter. "Actually, according to updated boundary surveys filed last quarter, this section falls under HOA jurisdiction." The bigger man stepped forward. His vest said Richard, and he walked like he expected everyone to move out of his way. "Ma'am, we need you to remove this fencing. Today. Or we'll have to escalate." That's when I made my mistake. I stepped out of the coop. "That fence went up because your people kept walking through here and scaring our chickens," I said. "Maybe worry about that instead." Richard turned to me. "Back away, son. This doesn't concern you. It's my farm too. He shoved me. Art. My feet went out from under me and I hit the ground bad, palms scraping on gravel, elbows smacking into a buried pipe. What happened next took maybe 3 seconds. Mom moved. Not running, not rushing. She stepped between me and Richard, grabbed his wrist with just 2 fingers, and suddenly he was on his knees. She didn't hit him. Didn't hurt him. Just redirected him. Like water flowing around a rock. "He put hands on my son," she said quietly. I removed the threat. Karen gasped like someone had slapped her. "You assaulted a compliance officer." "He assaulted a minor. I defended him." "Big difference." Karen whipped out her phone. "I'm calling the sheriff. This is assault. Resisting HOA authority." "Please do," Mom said. Still calm. Still quiet. That's how we ended up here, watching them put cuffs on my mom while Richard rubbed his wrist and Karen looked like she'd won the lottery. The deputy's name was Marks. I knew him from Little League. He looked uncomfortable as he helped Mom into the patrol car. "It's just protective custody pending review," he muttered. "Sorry, Sam." They drove away and I stood there in our driveway, hands still bleeding, watching the dust settle. Frank came out of the workshop. "He's worked our farm for 10 years, basically family now. Security cameras got all that," he said quietly. "Every second." That night I uploaded the footage. No editing, no commentary. Just 12 minutes of truth. Karen's lies about the property line, Richard shoving a teenager, Mom protecting me with minimal force. By morning we had 17,000 views. Comments were pouring in. HOA thugs attack kid. Mother defends son, gets arrested. Is this even legal? But Karen wasn't done. Not even close. A white envelope appeared on our gate the next morning. Inside were 17 HOA violations, all dated before the fence incident. They cited everything: our chickens were unauthorized livestock, our solar panels were reflective hazards, our compost bin was a biohazard. "These are dated last month," Frank said. "Before any of this started. They planned it," I realized. The whole thing. Mom got released that afternoon. She came home different. Quieter. She went straight to her laptop and started typing. Legal motions. County filings. Appeals. "We fight this properly," she said. "Through the system." Then they shut off our water. Frank found it first. The irrigation line that fed our crops, corn, tomatoes, beans, was dry. Someone had manually shut the valve at the road. You needed a special key to do it. "City tags are clean," Frank reported. This wasn't municipal. Our plants started dying. Mom rigged emergency water systems from our backup tanks, But we all knew what this was. They were trying to kill our farm. 3 days later, another envelope. This one said our animals were a community hazard. Bruno was an aggressive dog. Our chickens were unsanitary. They wanted to take our animals. The next morning, 2 animal control trucks rolled up. Behind them, Karen in her HOA SUV, smiling like Christmas came early. "We're here to remove dangerous animals from the property," one officer announced. He held a catch pole and tranquilizer gun. Mom stood by the chicken coop. "These animals aren't dangerous. We have complaints. Aggressive behavior. No proper licensing." Bruno came out from under the porch. He didn't bark. Didn't growl. Just stood between the officers and our chickens, tail low, watching. "See?" the officer said. "Aggressive stance." "He's protecting the birds," I said. "It's his job." Without warning, the officer raised his taser and fired. The sound was horrible. An electric crack, then Bruno's yelp as he twisted in the air. He hit the dirt hard, legs twitching, eyes rolling back. I dropped beside him, hands shaking. "Bruno. Hey boy, I got you. You're okay." He wasn't okay. His breathing was shallow, body still twitching from the shock. I looked up at Mom. I'd never seen her eyes like that. Cold. Empty. Dangerous. "You're done," she said. Her voice didn't rise. Didn't shake. It cut through the air like a blade. Karen stepped forward. "We warned you. No tags, no muzzle dash. You electrocuted a family pet. In front of a child. On private property." Mom's words were precise, measured. "Leave. Now." The officer with the taser shifted nervously. "Ma'am dash. Now." Something in her voice made them all step back. Even Richard. Even Karen. They left, but Karen's parting smile said this wasn't over. That night, Mom opened a box I'd only seen once before. Inside were military items, medals, patches, documents. And photos. She pulled one out. For people in desert camouflage. Mom was one. And there, younger but unmistakable, was Karen. Her name was Eliza then, Mom said. Eliza Summers. We served together in logistics. Until I caught her stealing supplies and selling them on the black market. Karen from the HOA was in the military with you? She disappeared before they could court-martial her. Changed her name. Started fresh. Mom studied the photo. I wondered where she ended up. "This is revenge," I said. "This is her trying to finish something she started 15 years ago." The attacks escalated. We found boot prints around the barn at night. Someone cut holes in our fence. Then came the fire. I was checking the greenhouse when I smelled smoke. Black chemical. Wrong. The south wall was burning, plastic melting, our water barrels cracked and leaking. Frank fought the flames while I looked for the source. In the debris I found a gas can, copper wire, the remains of a timer. "Arson," Frank said. But that wasn't the worst part. As I stepped back, my foot hit something metallic in the dirt. Click. The explosion was small but violent. It threw me sideways, legs screaming in pain. When I looked down, blood was soaking through my jeans. "Trap," Mom said suddenly beside me. She had her belt off, wrapping it around my thigh. "Pressure trigger. Homemade." "They're hunting us," I gasped through the pain. "No," she said quietly. "They just declared war." That night I watched my mother transform. The farmer, the single mom who grew vegetables and fixed tractors, she disappeared. In her place sat Commander Miller. She pulled out a different box. This one had a handgun, computer drives, and sealed folders marked with classification stamps. "I left this life behind," she said. "But I kept insurance." The folders contained records from her military service. Incident reports. Financial audits. And a file on Eliza Summers, every crime, every theft, every forged document. "You kept all this?" "Always have backup intel," she said. "First rule of operations." Danielle found us 2 nights later. She worked for the HOA but couldn't stomach what they were doing. She knocked on our door at midnight looking terrified. "I have information," she said. "But if they find out I came here." "You're safe," Mom told her. "Talk." Danielle pulled out a flash drive. "Karen isn't just HOA president. She's working with a development company called Tricor. They're systematically forcing out farmers, buying the land cheap, then building subdivisions. And Karen? Gets 10% of every sale. Your farm is already listed as tentatively acquired. They plan to have you gone within a month." Mom studied the documents. "Can you get more?" "Emails, bank records. I have admin access until Monday. Get everything. Every file, every email, every financial transfer. Everything." Over the next week, Mom worked like I'd never seen. She wasn't farming. She was running an operation. She filed federal complaints, called journalists, sent encrypted files to watchdog groups. She traced Karen's identity changes, found her forged documents, mapped her entire criminal history. The story broke locally first. HOA president under federal investigation. Then bigger outlets grabbed it. Our video of Bruno being tossed went viral, 3 million views in 2 days. Karen fought back. She published neighborhood bulletins calling us threats to community safety. She filed lawsuits. She showed up with fake warrants. But Mom had her final card ready. The flash drive contained everything. Classified military records showing Eliza Summers' theft ring. Bank accounts in the Caymans. Contracts with Tricor marking targeted farms. This is illegal, I said. These are classified documents. Sometimes, Mom said, you have to choose between legal and right. She sent everything to the Department of Justice, the FBI, and 5 major news outlets. The next morning, federal agents raided Karen's house. The HOA board was suspended. Our water was restored. But the real victory came in court. I testified. Told them about the harassment, the arson, the traps. Showed them my scars. Mom presented evidence. Hundreds of documents. Financial records. The conspiracy laid bare. Karen sat at the defense table, shrinking smaller with each revelation. When they showed her real identity, Eliza Summers wanted for military theft, she crumbled. The judge's ruling was swift. All HOA actions reversed. Full investigation launched. Karen faced federal charges for fraud, conspiracy, racketeering, and identity theft. 15 years in federal prison. We won. But the real victory came after. Letters arrived from across the state. Families who'd lost farms. Veterans who'd been targeted. All sharing their stories. We thought we were alone, one letter said. You showed us we could fight back. Mom pinned them all to a board in the kitchen. Our wall of courage, she called it. A month later, Tricor Development collapsed. 7 other HOA boards were investigated. A new state law passed protecting farmers from predatory zoning. Our farm is thriving now. Bruno recovered completely and still guards the chickens. The fence stands strong. Mom went back to growing vegetables. But something had changed. Other families started calling. Asking for help. Advice. Hope. Mom always took the calls. Always helped. Why? I asked once. We won. It's over. She showed me the newest letter. A family in Texas fighting their own corrupt HOA. It's never over, she said. There's always someone who needs to know they're not alone. These days I help too. I run a website for families facing HOA harassment. Share documents, legal templates, survival guides. Frank says we're famous now. The family that broke the HOA mafia. I don't know about famous, but I know we made a difference. Last week a reporter called. Wanted to interview the Navy commander who destroyed the HOA racket. Mom declined. I'm just a farmer, she told them. But I know better. Because late at night, when she thinks I'm asleep, I see her at the computer. Answering emails. Reviewing documents. Helping another family save their home. Once a commander, always a commander. Just with different missions now. The last time I saw Karen was at her sentencing. She looked old, defeated. As they led her away in chains, she turned back once. Mom didn't gloat. Didn't smile. Just nodded once, then turned away. Case closed. Mission complete. That night we had a barbecue. The whole neighborhood came. People who'd been too scared to speak before were laughing, sharing stories. To the Millers, someone toasted. For showing us how to fight back. Bruno barked in agreement. Now, when HOA officials visit farms in our county, they're careful. Respectful. Legal. They remember what happened to the last group that tried to bully a single mother on a small farm. They remember what happens when you mistake quiet for weak. They remember my mom. These days our fence stands tall. Our crops grow strong. Bruno still chases chickens. But there's something else now. A sign by our gate. This farm protected by the Miller family. We document everything. It's amazing how much power those 5 words carry. Because everyone knows the story now. The single mom who took down a corrupt HOA. The farmer who exposed a multi-million-dollar conspiracy. The Navy commander who never forgot how to fight. They came for our farm. They threatened our animals. They attacked our family. They lost. And now, because of one woman who refused to back down, farmers across the country know they don't have to lose either. Stand your ground. Document everything. Never back down. That's the Miller way. That's Mom's legacy. And that's why our farm will always be ours.